Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances to all glories to Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada.
And the Premarasa Garu.
Oh, you are also on the call. Welcome, welcome.
No, I am not on the call. I am next to your Akka who is on the call.
Oh, you are next to the call?
Yes.
So you are next to the call, huh?
Yes, I am next to your Akka.
Oh, I don't think anybody else joined so far. It's only me and Launika.
Oh,
Unless anybody else on the call. Huh?
There are 3 people on the call.
Yeah, me is one.
Oh, really? Who are the other devotees on the call?
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. This is Manasi Ganga.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
All glories to Manasi Ganga Mataji ki jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Nice to hear
your voice.
I am hijacking your calls, Mataji. Sorry, you please continue.
Rushali Mataji is not able to give class. Maybe you can give class today.
Sure, I will say Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We need to serve him. End of the class. No question.
Yeah, that's what we need to know. Yeah. Okay, Mataji, anybody else on the call? If not, we can just start with the prayers and then we all can take.
Yeah, let's start with the prayers.
Yeah. Okay. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthatam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadam Tadati Svapadantikam Vanja Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Narayanam Namaskritya, Naram Chaiva Narottamam, Devim Saraswatim Vyasam, Udirayat, Natyak Prayeshu Vapatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishukhi. Okay, Mataji, so So, Premarasa, please give the class today because tomorrow I have Gaurarti. I will not be able to attend.
Oh no. This verse, I was just thinking that it's a very big verse, today's verse. But yeah, I don't really know like how much justice I can do because this seems to be like little confusing to me. So maybe we all can take turns today, and then tomorrow I can hopefully be able to prepare a little bit before I can say something. So may I know who is on the call?
Mataji, I have joined the call, but I'll be silent mode today.
Yeah, Vishali Mataji, you joined. Okay,
yes.
good.
Hanji. Okay. Hare Krishna, Mataji, I have joined.
Okay, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining. So we'll read and then we'll see as we make some progress. Okay, so this is text 45 of Canto 2, Chapter 10. Nasya karmani janmadau parasyanu vidhiyate karitva prasidhye hartum maya ropitam hitat. Translation. There is no direct engineering by the Lord for the creation and destruction of the material world. What is described in the Vedas about his direct interference is simply to counteract the idea that material nature is the creator. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Vedic direction for the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material world is this. Yato va imani bhutani jayante. Yena jatani jivanti. Yat prayanti abhishyam vishanti. That is, everything is created by Brahman. After creation, everything is maintained by Brahman. And after annihilation, everything is conserved in Brahman. Gross materialists, without any knowledge of Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan, conclude material nature to be the ultimate cause of material manifestation. And the modern scientists also share this view that the material nature is the ultimate cause of all manifestations of the material world. This view is refuted by all Vedic literature. The Vedanta philosophy mentions that Brahman is the fountainhead of all creation, maintenance, and destruction. And Srimad Bhagavatam, the natural commentation on the Vedanta philosophy, says, Janmadi yasya yato anvayat itaratas charteshva abhigyaswarat, etc. Inert matter is undoubtedly energy with potential to interact, but it has no initiative of its own. Srimad Bhagavatam therefore comments on the aphorism Janmadi Yasya by saying Abhijna and Swarad, that is, the Supreme Brahman is not inert matter, but he is Supreme Consciousness and is independent. Therefore, inert matter cannot be the ultimate cause of the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material world. Superficially, material nature appears to be the cause of creation, maintenance, and destruction, but material nature is set into motion for creation by the Supreme Conscious Being, the Personality of Godhead. He is the background of all creation, maintenance, and destruction, and this is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9:10. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam enunanena hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. The material nature is one of the energies of the Lord, and she can work under the direction of the Lord, Adhyakshena. When the Lord throws his transcendental glance over the material nature, then only can the material nature act, as the father contacts the mother, who is then able to conceive a child. Although it appears to the layman that the mother gives birth to the child, the experienced man knows that the father gives birth to the child. The material nature therefore provides the moving and standing manifestations of the material world after being contacted by the Supreme Father and not independently. Considering the material nature of the cause of creation, maintenance, etc., is called the logic of the nipples of a neck of a goat. The Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes this logic as Ajagala Sthana Nyaya as follows, as explained by His Divine Grace, Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. The material nature as the material cause is known as Pradhan, and as efficient cause is known as Maya. But since it is inert matter, it is not the remote cause of creation. Okay. So I was thinking maybe we can discuss till here and then read the second part, or maybe I can just finish everything and then we can take little parts and then discuss again. Maybe that's better. So
Yeah,
we can
please
hear
read everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we know where the direction of the purport.
Yeah. So Ata eva Krishna Mula Jagat Karana Prakriti Karana Aiche Ajagala Sthana. Chaitanya Chaitamrita Adi Leela 561. Because Karna Dakshai Vishnu is the plenary expansion of Krishna, it is he who electrifies the matter to put it in action. The example of electrification is quite appropriate. A piece of iron is certainly not fire, but when the iron is made red hot, certainly it is the quality of fire, although it's all through its burning capacity. Matter is compared to the piece of iron, and it is electrified or made red hot by the glance or manipulation of the supreme consciousness of Vishnu. Only by such electrification is the energy of matter displayed in various actions and reactions. Therefore, the inert matter is neither efficient nor the material cause of cosmic manifestation. Would anyone else like to read? And I'm reading such a big purport. Maybe somebody else can read the rest.
I can read.
Mataji.
Sri Kapila Deva has said, Yatho Mukhad Vishpullingat Bhumadvapi Swasambhavat Api Atma Venabhimatad Athagni Prithak Ulmukhat.
Archana Mataji.
Huh?
Please, can you keep your phone little bit closer to your mouth?
Yes, sure, Mataji. 3.28.40. The original fire, its flame, its sparks, and its smoke are all one. For fire is still fire, yet is different from the flame. Flame is different from the sparks, and sparks are different from the smoke. If every one of them, namely in the flame, in sparks, and in smoke, the integrity of fire is present, yet all of them are differently situated with different positions. The cosmic manifestation is compared to the smoke. When smoke passes over the sky, so many forms appear, resembling many known and unknown manifestations. The sparks are compared to the living entities, and the flames are compared to material nature, pradhana. One must know that each and every one of them is effective simply because of being empowered by the quality of original fire. Therefore, all of them, namely the material nature, the cosmic manifestation, the living entities, are but different energies of the Lord, fire. Therefore, those who accept the material nature as cosmic manifestations, original cause, Prakriti, the cause of creation, according to Sankhya philosophy, are not correct in their conclusion. The material nature has no separate existence without the Lord. Therefore, setting aside the Supreme Lord as the cause of all causes is the logic of Ajagala Sthananyaya, or trying to milk the nipples on the neck of a goat. The nipples on the neck of a goat may seem like sources of milk, but to try to get milk from such nipples will be foolish.
Thank you for reading, Mataji. Mataji, I think it will also be nice if everyone can mute their phones, because there is some background noise, and whoever is speaking can unmute and continue to share. Okay, so I will read the translation one more time. It says, there is no direct engineering by the Lord for the creation and destruction of the material world. What is described in the Vedas about his direct interference is simply to counteract the idea that material nature is the creator. Okay, so basically what I'm hearing is that in this purport, actually the fact that most of the scientists present that this creation, this entire cosmos, or I would say this universe, or this creation actually comes from material world, is refuted in this verse. Actually, even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's first, one of the very first instructions, he actually, he actually speaks about impersonalists there. He says that we don't go into Brahman, So here it basically says that we are all coming from the, or Krishna is actually the source of everything. And even behind the cosmic manifestation, it is actually the hand of Krishna that is putting all of these inert materials to move. So, he says in the very beginning about Brahman. So he says that everything is created in Brahman, and creation, and after creation, everything is maintained by Brahman, and after annihilation, everything is conserved in Brahman. But Prabhupada actually, after a few lines, he says that actually Brahman here means the supreme consciousness, who is Krishna's and his expanded energies. So the Krishna's expanded energies, the Karnodakshay Vishnu, the Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and the Kshirodakshay Vishnu, they actually do the whole creation, the maintenance, and the annihilation of the universes, the cosmic manifestation. And Krishna is not directly involved. It is through his agencies that all of these take place. But he says that although it is true that Krishna, he says that Krishna actually, whatever we hear in the scriptures that Krishna is doing this is only to counteract the argument of the scientists that the whole manifestation, cosmic manifestation comes from, because there are a lot of theories out there. They say that there is a big bang, something came, two big things hit together, and suddenly the cosmic manifestation came into being. But Prabhupada actually challenges in many situations. We hear that Prabhupada challenges the scientists and says that if it was true that cosmic manifestation came into being without any supreme consciousness, then is it possible to even make one mosquito? All these knowledge that you have, because now everybody, all the scientists are able to make spaceships and so many microscopes, this and that, and so many different things. There are these heart transplant and kidney transplant, all of those. Science has advanced a lot, but is it possible, despite so much of advancement, that the scientists can make one mosquito that goes, that flies up and down, and then that flies sideways, and then can reproduce itself? It is actually not possible, because the analogy that's given here is that even for the child to be born, although the mother delivers the child, a father needs to give the seed to the mother. And as long as the father does not give the seed to the mother, there is no way that the child can be born. So similarly, the Father here is the Supreme Lord. And without him glancing on Prakriti, which is material nature, it cannot, the material nature cannot start to move. Therefore, Prabhupada here speaks about the analogy of the child being born of the father. And the verse here is given of Yoga Prakriti. It is a verse from Bhagavad Gita, and it is emphasizing on this word, that is Adhyakshena. So it basically means that the material nature is under the supervision of Krishna, or Krishna himself saying that I oversee all of this. So, Prabhupada here is very emphatically saying that behind all of this cosmic manifestation is the source of this manifestation, which is Krishna. So it is mostly for us to understand that there is actually a person who is behind all of this creation. So then there is the example of from Chaitanya Charitamrita, where it speaks about the nipples on the neck of a goat. So towards the end of the purport, it speaks that actually there are some nipple-like looking things on the neck of a goat. But if somebody tries to get milk from it, it is not possible to get milk from it, because it only looks like nipple, but it is not. So therefore, it said the example actually speaks further of actually there are a lot of analogies in this purport. So the next analogy we'll talk, and then we'll go back in sequence of the purport. So the next analogy is that of a piece of iron. So I have heard this several times, although in a different connection. A piece of iron is when it's put in fire, what happens? the iron becomes so hot that it actually starts to act like fire, although it is not fire. So the actual quality of iron transforms into the quality of fire. So anything we take and touch that hot iron rod to, it burns. Similarly, it is said that okay, let's see what it says here. It says matter is composed of iron and it is electrified or made red hot by the glance or manipulation of the supreme consciousness of Vishnu. So just like the iron can be made into fire, similarly, it is said that the iron here is compared to matter, and through the contact of fire, iron starts to act like fire. And similarly, through the contact of Vishnu, Mahavishnu, the matter, which is actually inert in nature, starts to move. So that's how the cosmic manifestation actually starts to manifest. Then he says that therefore the inert matter is neither efficient nor the material cause of cosmic manifestation. Therefore, he says that because it's Vishnu who puts the matter into motion, therefore Prabhupada says that creation did not happen from material nature. Actually, it is because of the hand of Krishna. This actually says that there are these 16 elements which form the Pradhan, which is like a big conglomerate of things. But as soon as Vishnu's glance falls on Pradhan, then all of these 16 elements, they disintegrate, and then all of these like false ego, mind, intelligence, all of these, they actually start to manifest. But without that glance of Vishnu, these elements, they remain in inert form. Basically, they don't have any action. So, like many times we see there are toys. The toy actually has a little key in the back, and as soon as, I mean, we used to have toys like that when we were young. The key was supposed to be rotated, and when the key was rotated, then the toy starts to either the car would move or the toy would walk. So somebody had to come and turn that key for the toy to start to walk. Although for a small boy, for him, the person turning the key might not register. For them, they see that the toy is walking, but they don't know that there is actually a person who is actually turning on the key for the toy to walk. So similarly, those who are not versed well with scriptures, for them it might look like the material world or the material nature is actually working on its own. But only people who are intelligent enough to be able to take the shelter of scriptures and to hear from pure devotees, only they can actually understand that that Krishna, the Supreme Person, is actually behind all of this. Actually, so many times we hear about our imperfect senses, and I used to often wonder when I was small. I used to often wonder when I looked at the sun. I used to think that the sun looks so tiny, but my science tells me that the sun is bigger than the earth. How is that possible? Because when I see the sun, which is so small. And also another thing I used to always wonder is that when we read in the science books, they used to tell us that, oh, the sun is so big and it is so hot, fumes are coming out of it. In our science project, we used to always make the solar system. So we used to make the sun red in color with so much of flames and all of those. And I used to wonder that how can I, with the naked eye, be able to look at the sun, which is so hot and furious? So we can actually tell that with our senses, what we perceive is very incomplete and imperfect. We actually need something bona fide in order for us to actually understand how things exist factually. So, and Srimad Bhagavatam is such scripture because it is coming in disciplic succession. We actually read in the previous chapter that Brahma meditates, and after his meditation is over, he actually gets to meet the personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, because he needs that empowerment to do the creation. And because that Brahma is actually in the rasa of a friend, Krishna actually shakes hands with Lord Brahma and he empowers him to start his service. And Krishna, when he empowers him, he gives 4 verses, which are the Chatushloki verses. And out of those 4 verses, the first verse actually speaks about this. He says, Krishna himself is telling Lord Brahma that I am the source of everything. So when we hear in Srimad Bhagavatam, then we know for sure that when Krishna is himself speaking to Lord Brahma, and then Brahma speaks the same knowledge to Narada, and then Narada gives instructions to Vyasadeva to write Srimad Bhagavatam. So when we take shelter of scriptures as pure as Srimad Bhagavatam, then we can actually understand what is reality, what is factually, what is it, or how is it that the whole manifestation comes into being. Actually, several times I have tried to understand this topic, but it is so deep that it's kind of very hard for my little brain to actually conceive what is being said when we hear that so many universes are coming from the pores of Mahavishnu. And I mean, how big must be Mahavishnu? How big? And when we hear about what is the lifespan of Lord Brahma, and like so many Lord Brahmas and so many universes and so many things coming from Mahavishnu. I mean, it's inconceivable. At least for me, I cannot even fathom to understand like what the scale of the time, in relation to time, is very, very difficult. I cannot really understand. So I wanted to read one more time the last paragraph because when it was a little confusing for me. So I will read one time and then see if I can speak something on it, or otherwise maybe somebody else can share. So the last paragraph is, the original fire, its flame, its spark and smoke are all one. For fire is still fire, yet is different from flame. Flame is different from spark, and sparks are different from smoke. So basically, what we are hearing here is that there is the original fire, who is Krishna, and then there are different components of it, which is the flame, the spark, and the smoke. But all of these actually constitute the fire. So although fire is still fire, yet it is different from flame. So actually, when Manasi Ganga Mataji asked that question about is Krishna, the energetic and the spiritual energy, which is Krishna's energy, have the same potency, I asked that question to Maharaj this morning in Srimad Bhagavatam class. So Manasi Ganga Mataji, you can hear the recording. from today's morning Srimad Bhagavatam class, but he actually speaks about this thing. He says how Krishna and his energies are non-different, but they have different potencies. I think that's what he said, but even I have to go back and hear again what are the exact words he used. So this is similar because the nature of, they are different and they are same at the same time. The flame, the spark and the smoke, they're all components of fire, but at the same time they're different from fire. So in every one of them, namely in the flame, in the spark and in the smoke, the integrity of fire is present, yet all of them are differently situated with different positions. The cosmic manifestation is compared to the smoke, because when smoke passes over the sky, so many forms appear, resembling many known and unknown manifestations. The sparks are compared to living entities, and the flames are compared to material nature. One must know that each and every one of them is effective simply because of being empowered by the quality of the original fire. Therefore, all of them, namely the material nature, the cosmic manifestation, and the living entities, are but different energies of the Lord. Therefore, those who accept the material nature as cosmic manifestation's original cause, Prakriti, the cause of creation, according to Sankhya philosophy, are not correct in their conclusion. The material nature has no separate existence without the Lord. Therefore, setting aside the Supreme Lord as the cause of all cause is a logic of Aja Gala Sthana Nyaya, or trying to drink the milk of the nipples on the neck of a goat. Okay, so maybe somebody can share why the sparks are compared to living entities and the flames are compared to material nature, and why the smoke is compared to cosmic manifestation. I have some thoughts, but I would rather somebody to speak who is more confident, or rather not speculate. So yeah, I will leave it up to somebody else to share. And I think the last point that he's making is that the material nature has no separate existence without the Lord. So we know that material nature is actually Prakriti, and it comes because of Purusha. And there is only one Purusha, who is Krishna. So Prakriti cannot exist separate from Krishna. So yeah, so I will see if somebody else would like to share on this last paragraph and even otherwise. So thank you for your patience with me. Sorry, I did not really get through the if I could make any.
I don't know too much, but I'll just take a guess. When you say that the cosmic manifestation is compared to the smoke, it's as if it comes and goes. It can be blown by the wind, and it no longer is there. So we actually heard something to that effect in one of the verses. So it's like it's a product of the fire, but just as the wind can blow it away, the Lord can desire to annihilate. So I would say that kind of works there. Then it says the sparks are compared to the living entities. We have the same qualities, mostly the same qualities of the Lord, and we're although at much lesser quantity. So qualitatively, we've heard we're the same as the Lord, but quantitatively we're different, except for his special qualities, like playing the flute, etc., beautifully Lestat. And what was the other? The flame. Flame is I can't even remember because I was driving, and I just got home. I think flame is
material nature. Material nature, Mataji.
Yeah, and then so I don't have too many ideas on that. I don't know. Flame is material nature. I'll have to think about that.
I don't know. I was only thinking about that Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. I don't know.
Mataji, I'll share my thoughts?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like Mataji said that cosmic manifestation is compared to the smoke, and as the smoke passes through the sky, it appears that it holds only known and unknown manifestations. So the cosmic manifestation also holds many manifested and non-manifested. Like you said, that it can be annihilated and created as the smoke can be blown. And the living things are compared to sparks. So till the spark is connected to the fire, it has all the potencies of the fire. But when it is disconnected and it goes far away, then it loses all that potency of the fire. It dies down. So similarly, when we are disconnected, then we are no longer Satchitananda. We are troubled by material mysteries. This is what I was saying. And the flames are compared to material nature. The flames are still connected to the Lord somehow. I don't know, Mataji, about this. They are not like the sparks.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji, for sharing. Yeah, I don't know. I cannot really comment on anything because I myself am not sure what is being said here. Maybe somebody who knows can comment, but yeah, sorry, I can only hear, but thank you both for sharing. Yeah, one thing I could do is again go back and hear a few classes. So for tomorrow, maybe I can probably share something. But yeah, for today, I don't really know.
So when we say material nature, are we talking about the modes, the three modes?
I think material nature actually means everything. Yeah, not just the modes of material nature, yes. But my understanding is when we say material nature, it means more like the external energy of the Lord. Yeah, which comprises of the three modes. So yeah, maybe that's how you can say, Mataji. Yeah.
I just don't understand how a flame is different than the fire. Just like forget the analogy here, I thought the fire is the flame. And so that's why it's troubling me. I can't figure out what the distinction is so that I can try to understand the analogy. maybe that's the whole
Maybe he's
point.
only sharing that Krishna and his energy are,
Non-different.
energy and the energetic are non-different.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So,
and maybe would the flames be just part of the fire? I don't know. But I was thinking also the
fire is the cause of the flame. So Krishna is actually the cause behind the material energy also. So that's what I think is the point that they are trying to make, because the whole purport talks about how Krishna is behind the whole of the cosmic manifestation and how he's putting the material energy to move. So if Krishna is fire, then the flame is definitely coming from the fire.
Yeah, it's a product, right?
Yeah.
It's something. Yeah. So if he's the cause behind, then material nature, which includes the modes and everything, external energy of the Lord, it's a product. It's yeah. So that makes sense too.
So without the fire, the flame cannot exist. That's the line I think he says after this analogy, where he says that it is dependent on Krishna. The material nature is dependent on Krishna, so it cannot exist independent of Krishna, which should make sense, because if there is no fire, then if there is no flame also, so the flame is actually dependent on the fire. Cannot exist independent of the fire. But I'm still not sure, Mataji. I'm just sharing from what I'm thinking. But yeah, I mean, it probably is, but I would say that it will be best if I can hear from somebody and then be more sure of the understanding. Yeah. But thank you, Mataji, for adding and sharing your thoughts. Thank you, Antaranga Seva Mataji, also for sharing. If anybody else would like to share, I don't even know who else is on the call. My sister, I don't know if she's there or she left or what happened. Not saying anything. I'm here, I'm listening. Okay. So you can share if you want to share something. Thank you for the nice class, and all the comments by Antaranga Seva Mataji and Manasi Ganga Mataji. I think the overall verse is something that Prabhupada used to talk about very often, because especially in academic circles, usually there is never mention of God, and they keep trying to find out what is the cause of this, what is the cause of that. And I myself used to think like that, like, why is this happening? Why is that happening? With such a background, like, it's very hard to it's one thing when you have nothing to lose. You can take this philosophy or that philosophy and not pay attention to it. But if the devotees are, telling you that chant 16 rounds, and still, my mind was not clear whether God exists and all this is happening because of God. I had those kind of doubts for a long time. So I actually had a lot to, what should I say? A lot was at stake for me, because chanting 16 rounds was not easy. And so I was really questioning, like, is this true or is that true? But Prabhupada used to, discuss this very, very often, because that's a big question
when someone has to follow the practices of, whether someone wants to take up the practices of Krishna consciousness or not. Because all our life we have been hearing, this is the cause of that, like the clouds are coming from the oceans, there's the water is evaporating, all these things are happening. So there is some reason and logic behind certain things which science explains, but ultimately it never talks about God. So I think this was a nice discussion, and as devotees we understand that Krishna is the cause of all causes. So that's all I had to share based on this word. And one thing that was, definitely was distracting is someone is doing something in the background or something is happening behind where someone is sitting. And there was this constant noise during the class. I mean, I could have told my mind to not keep focusing on that, but my mind kept going back to the noise. So that's all I wanted to share, Premarasa. And maybe one other important thing is, as long as the mind is trying to figure out whether God exists or he doesn't exist, or is it just matter, or is it just, randomly things are happening. If the mind is trying to figure out, it is a very difficult task for the mind to figure out answer to those questions. But the moment we have the association of devotees and we perform some devotional service, immediately these things become clear. So I feel like anything about Krishna can be understood only through devotional service. Otherwise, the mind just keeps going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes it says this is right, sometimes it says that is right, and there is no conclusive understanding of something at the level of the mind. So that's all I wanted to share. Thank you once again, Premarasa, for just staying with Prabhupada's purport and going line by line, trying to understand what he's saying. It was very nice. To hear from Prabhupada and to hear you repeating what Prabhupada said. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing. So let us continue again tomorrow. So we are going to read the next verse, which is not, I think, as big. So hopefully we'll have more room for discussion. And we'll continue. So thank you all very much for joining. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.